an expert on resilience, CEO and co-founder of the Dream Guards, 2018 International Women's Day Leadership Ambassador in Social Justice and Equality, qualified personal trainer, youth mental health first aider, Lifeline suicide prevention counsellor, and most recently, children's author and a Speakers Tribe leader here in Queensland. Woo! As a survivor of childhood trauma and domestic violence where she was separated from everything familiar in her life, her family and her community, she is passionate about helping others tap into their resilience and build their community connections. Her mission is to help reduce the serious side effects of bullying, abuse, and promote a compassionate, connected community. She shares her published story in honour of her mum at community events and during the Dream Guards Tour of Resilience program in schools across Australia. Today, she will be sharing it with us along with 2 of the tools she developed to build her resilience and reconnect with her community. To show you the future of community is connection, please welcome to the stage Donna-Leigh Perfect.
Wow, what an awesome connected community we have here. Wouldn't you love to feel this connected out there in the real world? Well, I've got a couple of tools that may enable that. Because have you ever felt disconnected from everything in your world that felt safe and secure? Feeling isolated and alone? I have. I was just 7 years old. The piercing screams of my mum woke me. Jumping out of bed, I heard my dad yelling as I watched him chase my mum with a knife. I can never erase the image of seeing my mum being stabbed in the back by my dad. And I can still see his cold, callous eyes staring back at me as he drove off in the back of a police car. This moment changed my life forever and was the beginning of my nightmare. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine watching a suspense thriller, sitting on the edge of your seat. Every second, the suspense gets more and more intense. Well, that was literally my life. I can still smell the musty scent of the grey flannel suit the social worker wore. The day he took away my older brother, my sister, and my twin. 7 years old and completely alone. My resilience training had begun. In a very unfamiliar community. 13 foster homes and 13 schools became my battlefields over 5 years, where on every level I was bullied. Kids would bash me and call me names, and then they'd exclude me from their games. But worse were the foster parents. When I was just 11, this particular foster mother, a large, stone-faced woman with cold eyes, handed me a 6-month-old baby girl. She had thick, dark, curly hair, perfect olive skin, and big brown eyes. "This is your baby." I was only 11. I had no idea where babies came from, so I believed her. "Her name's Marama. You got to take care of her." Which meant I had to be her mum. I had to wake up and feed her, change her nappies, and bathe her. Marama was a ray of sunshine in my life. We played and laughed, and at night time I'd read her bedtime stories. Marama brought so much happiness to my world, and for the first time in years I felt connected. One day, skipping home from school, I went to my room But Marama was gone. No explanation. She was just gone. I had to adapt to my life again without Marama. You, like me, would agree. As humans, we have this strong need to feel connected to something bigger than ourselves, a community where we can feel safe and secure, a sense of belonging. It started for most of us when we got to go to that so-called fun community, school, where community connectedness was promoted on a whole nother level. In a small classroom with 30 other people, all day, every day, preparing us for the workforce in large corporations with hundreds of people. Well, things have changed. Over the past decade, there's been a major shift. More and more now, we're finding ourselves working from home alone. How many of you, like me, see yourself in this position? For those of you working from home, have you ever felt so isolated that the only human connection you've had, day in and day out, was a live video on Facebook? Hi, I'm here. Can you see me? Please like me. With 7.2 billion people in the world, we now have 2/3 of the population on digital technology. Yet today, more than ever, we're feeling isolated. Perhaps you can relate. I can. Missing Marama? I thought my life in foster care couldn't get any worse until I was 12 years old. I was faced with the toughest decision of my life. I'll never forget it. Donna, you've got two choices. You can stay in foster care, accept whatever abuse is dished out to you, until you're 18 and free to leave. Or you can return to your father who's been released from prison. Back into the home where he murdered my mum. I chose to return to my dad because I would finally be reunited with the love of my older brothers, my sister and my twin. Being connected to my family meant everything to me. We looked out for each other. As the following 5 years living with my alcoholic father and his unpredictable mental health was nothing short of traumatic. I was 17 when he drank himself to death. If you can imagine, this was like waking up from a nightmare. On one cold, dark night, I reached out for help. I reached out to Lifeline. Working through my trauma with professionals, I came to realize my childhood trauma happened to me, not because of me. This was a major turning point in my life. And why? I chose to be part of the Lifeline community as a telephone counsellor, helping people in our community who were suicidal. And the reason why I'm sharing my story with you today is in the hope that I inspire you to believe you can overcome adversity in your life. I'm so grateful for the life lessons I've learned and the resilient temple I built, arming me with tools, two of which I'd like to share with you today. As a qualified personal trainer, my first tool is healthy eating and exercise. Healthy eating and exercise promotes a healthy immune system and strengthens muscle and bone degeneration. But the latest exciting research indicates that healthy eating and exercise actually increases the area of our brain called the hippocampus, potentially reducing the risk of Alzheimer's. But most importantly, daily exercise actually releases all the happy chemicals, endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine in our body, which make us feel amazing and dramatically improving our mental health. Well, I've taken this to a whole nother level by skipping every day. You see, I believe when you skip, you release a double dose of dopamine. Who doesn't want a double dose of dopamine? Yes. Wow. You see, when you skip, you can't help but smile. And people in the community that see you skip smile too, connecting a community through dopamine. So what I say is put a skip in your day and keep depression away. My second tool is gratitude. And I encourage you to wake with gratitude and reflect on the true miracle of being alive. In fact, it is 1 in 400 trillion of a miracle. You already are a miracle. Talking about miracles. Wow. Now, check out this amazing Australian gratitude chain. I've been receiving, oops, back there. I've been receiving these handwritten links of gratitude from people just like you, all across our Australian community. Mindful moments of gratitude reflected on every link. And I'd like to share 3 with you today. The first is from a university professor. I am grateful I survived a helicopter crash. The second is from an inspirational speaker. I am grateful we escaped the Bosnian War and survived. The third is from my cousin. I am grateful we survived cancer. Wow, that's amazing. What are you grateful for today? I'm grateful I bought an extra pair of undies. Nerves. Please, can I ask you all to stand for me now, please? Give me an okay sign. Give me another okay sign. Reach out to the person each side of you and connect your okay sign to theirs. Now close your eyes and take a mindful moment to think of something you're grateful for in your life. While your eyes are still closed, make a compassionate pledge quietly to yourself that I am reaching out to my community to help myself and others. While still connected, open your eyes. Speakers Tribe Gold Coast, we have just created a human gratitude chain here today because the future of community is connectedness. Woo! Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Donna-Leigh Perfect, you get me every time.